You've owed back taxes to the IRS for a while. You're tired of receiving the notices and the threatening letters. You can't deal with the stress of worrying about what might happen if you can't pay. Then you hear about the new IRS program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Well, what is it? How does it work? How will it benefit you? What is the Fresh Start Initiative? That's the topic of today's video on the other side of the break.
1-877 Levy King, Levy Levy King, 1-877 Levy King, LevyKing.com.
What's up, guys? Corey Hankerson here from Legacy Tax, and they call me the Levy King because I've helped thousands of clients with unfiled returns, back taxes, tax liens, and that's right, IRS levies. If the IRS took your check, the Levy King will get it back. 1-877 Levy King, LevyKing.com. I'm also the author of End the Tax Nightmare, Insider Secrets to Beat the IRS and Reduce Your Tax Debt. Inside the book, I show you how to stop IRS liens, levies, and garnishments without paying the tax in full, how to set up a payment plan that you want, not the one that they want, and how to potentially settle your tax debt for less than you actually owe. My book has been a top seller on Amazon for years. You can buy it right now for $19.99, but I want to give you a copy of the book absolutely free. Just go over to my website, www.endthetaxnightmare.com, and enter your name and email, and I'll send you a copy right away. No charge, not even for shipping, totally free. Before we go further with this video, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. All right, let's dive into today's content. What is the Fresh Start Initiative? Despite what you hear on TV and radio commercials with famous celebrity pitchmen, the Fresh Start Initiative is not new. In fact, it's not even really a program as much as it is a temporary relaxing of the rules for other tax remedies like the installment agreement or the offer in compromise. The Fresh Start Initiative began in 2011 as a way to expand the offer in compromise program to allow more taxpayers with IRS debt to pay off that debt more quickly via NOIC. The Fresh Start program raises the dollar amount that triggers a federal tax lien up to $25,000 from its previous level of $5,000. It makes it easier to obtain a tax lien release once the debt is paid off, makes it easier to have the notice of federal tax lien withdrawn, makes it easier to remove penalties. If this is your first time falling behind on your taxes, makes it easier for small businesses to get into a payment plan with the IRS. Expands the qualifications of the offer and compromise program to make it easier for taxpayers to qualify. Let's take a look at how a few of these items have changed since the Fresh Start Initiative. Installment agreements. The Fresh Start Initiative relaxes some of the rules for installment agreements, known as IRS payment plans. For example, under Fresh Start, you can set up what is known as a streamlined installment agreement if you owe less than $50,000. A streamlined installment agreement is one where you're not really required to fully disclose all of your financial information to the government. You will have to answer some financial questions and maybe provide some documents, but a complete financial disclosure will likely not be required. Before Fresh Start, you had to owe less than $10,000 to access a streamlined agreement. The next up is penalty abatement. The total amount that you owe the IRS is comprised of the tax itself plus interest and penalties. It's often the interest and penalties that cause your balance to quickly become unmanageable. Before the Fresh Start, you had to prove reasonable cause to get the IRS to remove those penalties. The IRS considers reasonable cause to be fire, casualty, or natural disaster losses causing the inability for you to obtain your records, death or serious illness, or incapacitation of either you or an immediate family member, and other reasons which establish that you use all ordinary business care and prudence to meet your financial tax obligations, but you weren't able to do so. Now, I know that last one is vague, but the bottom line is that you need to be able to show a really compelling reason why this whole situation is not your fault. Under Fresh Start, you may have the right to have some of those penalties removed without showing good cause if this is your first time falling behind on your taxes. Next up is the offer in compromise. The Fresh Start program makes it easier for you to qualify for an offer in compromise. The IRS made the OIC program more attractive because it allowed additional expenses and reduced the assets that needed to be included in the OIC. The most significant change was to reduce the amount of the offer for qualifying under Fresh Start. For example, let's assume a taxpayer qualifies for an OIC. For more on OIC qualification, check out this video. Now, this taxpayer has $500 in monthly disposable income and $5,000 in net assets. The minimum amount that he would have to offer, it would have been $29,000, but is now $11,000 under Fresh Start. That's because the changes to the OIC program made it more attractive. Because of Fresh Start, this taxpayer would now offer $18,000 less than he would have had to offer before. We should note that while the Fresh Start initiative did make it easier for more people to qualify for an offer in compromise, the IRS still rejects way more offers than it accepts. In 2017, there were about 19 million taxpayers that owed the IRS. Over 60 million offers were submitted, but the IRS only accepted around 25 million, which is significantly less than half. The last Fresh Start change has to do with tax liens. Prior to the Fresh Start initiative, if you owed as little as $5,000, the IRS would go down to the county courthouse where you live and file a notice of federal tax lien against you and all of your assets. The notice of federal tax lien is public record and can affect your credit, your reputation, your ability to obtain a mortgage or a bank loan. It could even prevent you from getting or keeping a job. Under Fresh Start, the IRS generally will not file a tax lien unless you owe more than $25,000. And there are now additional options for getting the tax lien released or withdrawn compared to before the Fresh Start program was introduced. As you can see, there are a lot of moving parts to consider when you owe back taxes and you're trying to get things back on track. I want you to know that there are special programs in place to help you get a fresh start. But how do you know which way to turn? Should you try a streamlined installment agreement? What about penalty abatement or maybe an offer in compromise? Well, I've created a free tool to help you figure it out and help you get qualified for a fresh start. Just head over to www.levyking.com or click the link below. Follow the prompts and answer a few simple questions and we'll help you figure out your eligibility. That website again, www.levyking.com, or you can give us a call at 1-877-LEVY-KING. That's it for this week, guys. Talk to you later.
Owe back taxes to the IRS? Call the Levy King. He's the best. 877-LEVY-KING. LevyKing.com. 1-877-LEVY-KING. LevyKing.com.